Good morning. It is 10:50 a.m. on Tuesday, December 31st, 2019, New Year's Eve. I'm Christiana Ellis, and I've actually been up for a little while. This is 5 more minutes. I'm feeling significantly better today. I felt a little headachy a lot of yesterday. Good enough, though, that I played another session of the Ironsworn solo play. That was a lot of fun. Today, I'm feeling almost entirely better except for the lingering chest congestion, minor cough, which is hallmark of this particular type of illness, is that's the thing that lingers. And, I have to continue to try to treat that and make sure I don't let it linger, or else it could turn into bronchitis or something, which I have had happen before. But by and large, in terms of just how I feel, much better. So thank you for the various people who have expressed sympathy or condolences for my my illness. So yesterday, what did I do yesterday? Well, I did play more Ironsworn, and that was an interesting session because after the first solo play, I realized that the mechanics in that game of adding complications can tend to add all of these little branching paths that if you don't proactively step in to try to connect some of those dots, it can just start feeling scattered. It's like in an open world video game where you just have a billion side quests and you don't actually care about anything anymore. It becomes kind of just rote. You stop really paying attention to the story. That's no good. So in the session last night, I started trying to curve some of those back around to each other to enormous success in terms of having fun, mixed success in terms of how well it went for my hero. But I also played a little bit more Death Stranding, and it was interesting because I did get into a little bit of a mode in that one where I was just kind of following some of the side quests. And some of the side quests in that really don't even have much to do with the story at all. It's just activity. And it's not bad, but it does get away from the part of the game that I'm more interested in, which is the utterly bonkers story. So I think I'll probably stop doing that so much. But it has this ranking mechanism where every time you make a delivery to each outpost, you get more stars. It's definitely a dangerous one for completionists. But it's New Year's Eve. So I also want to just talk a little bit about this year. This year, last year at this time, I was in South Korea. And Facebook helpfully provided me with a memory that was me crowing that because I was in South Korea, I got to get to New Year's first. So just thinking back the last year, some of 2017, well, I guess some of 2018 was also South Korea. But in the last year, I finished that project and got a new project here in Massachusetts, which I like a lot. I'm very happy about that. This year, I finally decided that I was ready to get a new puppy and started that process, and that took a long time. But it's born fruit, so to speak, born puppy, puppy fruit. And so I don't have the puppy yet, but soon. I have a picture of the puppy. Still thinking about names. I might put out a call for names. Not that I necessarily am guaranteeing anyone that their suggestion might make the list, but just because I've got a short list of my own, but I want to just have some people toss in some random ideas just to fill out the brain space, so to speak, and maybe give me some ideas that I hadn't thought of, in terms of directions to go. Like I've said before, I probably won't choose a final name until I have met the puppy in person. because personality is important. And although at 8 weeks, you don't necessarily know their personality super well, but you know, that's kind of how it goes. But in the meantime, just thinking back on this year, I continued to play a lot of D&D, which I certainly enjoyed. Work's going well. I have a new niece as of this year. My brother and sister-in-law had their baby, who is, I think, 9 months old now. Yeah, I think that's about that. And that's great. So yeah, I mean, overall, I think it was a pretty good year in terms of those personal things. Of course, there's stuff external to me that's going on in the world that's not great, but just in terms of my own sort of stuff, I feel like I'm not a big believer in New Year's vows. Shoot, I'm suddenly blanking on the word. Resolution. That's what it is. New Year's resolutions. I'm not a big believer in that. I generally feel like if you want to make sort of a commitment to yourself to improve something about your life, you don't really need it to be New Year's to do that. That said, I mean, if people find that helpful, then sure, great. I'm not going to tell anyone not to do it. But it does seem to me that it's kind of a cliche that people make New Year's resolutions and then don't keep them. So, oh, that just reminds me, the other thing that I did this year was I started going to the Y. I haven't been since I've been, sick this week. I need to get back into it now that I'm going to start feeling better here. But that was another thing this year. So, wrapping up 2019, yeah, I had some good stuff, ready to let it go, ready to look forward. Looking forward now. Reminds me, the most recent episode of Steven Universe Future had a song about that. Looking forward. Yep. So, I'm going to go ahead and leave it there. Looking forward. Happy New Year to everyone, and I will talk to you again next year, next decade, for 5 more minutes.